Time, that fleeting shadow we chase, whispers lies of delay. But you, yes you, are already ahead. You passed the test the moment you chose to step forward. The world calls for the 1% who dare to see beyond the ticking clock, who realize that the journey isn't about catching up. It's about waking up. Chosen one, hurry up. The path is yours, and the celebration of your mastery has already begun. Time, the ever-present illusion, wraps itself around our minds like a mist, convincing us that we are behind, that we are late, that there is something to chase. Yet the truth is far more profound. You have already passed the test. The chosen ones understand this. They see that time, as we know it, is nothing more than a mental construct, a game of clocks and calendars designed to measure the immeasurable. The present moment, here and now, is the only reality. Everything else is a dream of the mind, a projection of fear or hope into an uncertain, unrealized future. To hurry up does not mean to rush frantically toward a goal on some distant horizon. It means to wake up to this very moment, to grasp the immediacy of life's unfolding reality. The illusion of time convinces many to wait for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, the ideal conditions. But the chosen ones know there is no such thing. The only perfect moment is now. The only real opportunity is the one standing in front of you, asking to be embraced. Time tells us stories that we're too young to start, too old to begin again, too late to make a difference. But these are just echoes of societal conditioning, not truth. Time is like a river, always flowing, but you are not a leaf caught in its current. You are the river itself, moving through the landscape of experience. The 1%, the chosen ones, realize that the past is merely a memory and the future an imagined narrative. What holds weight, what breathes with vitality, is this moment. And in this moment, you are already stepped into the stream of your destiny, by showing up, by being present. People often feel they are running out of time, but what they are truly running out of is present. When you live perpetually in the future, anxiously awaiting some validation of success, you rob yourself of the power of now. And it is in the now that all potential resides. The chosen ones move with a sense of urgency, not because they fear time, but because they honor it. They recognize that each moment is a gift, one that, once spent, can never be reclaimed. They do not race against the clock. They align with the present, where time becomes irrelevant. Society conditions us to believe that milestones and achievements are the markers of success. But the chosen know differently. They understand that mastery comes from presence, not from a linear progression of accomplishments. The illusion of time demands that we compare ourselves to others, measuring our worth by external timelines. But what if you truly realized that there is no one to compare yourself to, that your journey, your path has already unfolded in perfect synchrony with your growth? The moment you accept that time is a tool, not a tyrant, you reclaim your power. You are not late. You are not behind. You are here, breathing, alive, and infinitely capable. The chosen ones do not wait for the right time to act, to speak, to create. They understand that the act of presence is itself the key to unlocking their potential. To hurry up, then, is not to panic or scramble. It is to awaken, to step beyond the illusion of not yet and into the reality of already. You have already passed the test of time by recognizing that the only time that matters is now. And in this now, your power is absolute. The chosen ones know this. The question is, do you? The 1% mindset is not a matter of privilege or luck. It is a matter of perception, of seeing the world through a different lens. The chosen ones do not wait for permission to move forward. They do not seek validation from external voices, nor do they ask if they are ready. Readiness is not something handed to you, it is something you claim. The 1% understand that the moment you decide to act, you are ready. The decision itself is the threshold you cross into mastery. Most people live in a state of waiting for the perfect opportunity, the right circumstances, the moment when they finally feel confident. But the chosen ones know that confidence is not a prerequisite for action, it is a result of action. When you act from a place of inner authority, you tap into a power that most never discover. This power is the quiet, unshakable belief that you are enough as you are, and that the path will reveal itself as you walk it. You do not need to see the entire staircase. You only need to take the next step. The world is filled with noise, with opinions and narratives about how things should be done. The majority follow these scripts without question, adopting beliefs about what is possible, what is practical, and what is allowed. But the chosen ones, those with the 1% mindset, understand that these narratives are just constructs, handed down through generations like worn-out maps of a world that no longer exists. They know that innovation, growth, and personal freedom come from questioning these assumptions, from daring to imagine a different way. They do not follow maps. They draw their own. To adopt the 1% mindset is to recognize that authority is self-generated. The chosen ones do not wait for someone to tell them they are ready to lead, to create, to speak. They step into the arena with the understanding that leadership is not bestowed. It is embodied. They give themselves permission to try, to fail, to learn, and to rise again. This willingness to act, even in the face of uncertainty, is what sets them apart. There is a kind of quiet rebellion in this mindset. The world teaches conformity, urging people to stay within the lines, to follow the rules, to not stand out too much. But the chosen ones see these rules for what they are. Invisible fences designed to keep the masses in predictable patterns. They understand that true growth happens beyond these fences, in the wild, uncharted territory of original thought and bold action. They are not reckless, but they are unafraid to challenge the status quo. This mindset requires a deep sense of responsibility. When you realize you have the power to shape your reality, you also realize you can no longer blame external forces for your circumstances. The chosen ones do not waste energy on excuses. They know that every moment spent in self-pity or blame is a moment stolen from their potential. They take ownership of their thoughts, actions, and results. If something doesn't work, they adapt. If they fall, they rise. This relentless sense of responsibility is not a burden, but a liberation, for it means they are truly in control of their lives. The 1% mindset is not about superiority or arrogance. It is about clarity. It is the clarity to see that life is not something happening to you, but something unfolding through you. It is the understanding that you do not need permission to live fully, to create boldly, or to pursue your calling with everything you have. The chosen ones know that the greatest limitations are not external, but internal. They face their fears, their doubts, and their insecurities with compassion, but without concession. They move forward, not because they are fearless, but because they refuse to let fear dictate their lives. Ultimately, the 1% mindset is a quiet, powerful decision to live from the inside out. It is the realization that the only authority you need is your own. And once you claim that authority, you step into a world of limitless possibility. The chosen ones have already made this decision. The question is, will you? The urgency of presence is not about rushing through life or constantly seeking the next thing. It is about fully occupying the moment you are in, understanding that the present is the only point of power you will ever have. The chosen ones grasp this truth intuitively. They know that life does not happen in the past or the future. It unfolds here, in the now. Presence is the foundation of all mastery, the key to unlocking creativity, focus, and authentic act. Yet most people spend their days lost in a fog of distractions, haunted by regrets of the past or anxieties about the future. The chosen ones break free from this illusion. They know that to live fully is to live presently. The mind, left unchecked, becomes a time traveler. It replays old stories, clings to familiar pains, and projects worries onto a future that has not yet arrived. But none of that is real. The past is a memory, a shadow of experiences already lived. The future is a guess, an abstract construction built from fragments of imagination. The only moment that holds life is this one. Presence is the practice of returning again and again to this living moment, to the breath, the sensations, the reality unfolding right now. The chosen ones cultivate this practice not as a meditation exercise, but as a way of being. There is a certain urgency to presence that the chosen ones understand. This urgency is not frantic or anxious. It is clear, grounded, and alive. It comes from the recognition that life is fleeting, that each moment is unique and irreplaceable. Every conversation, every opportunity, every breath is a once-in-a-lifetime event. When you realize this, you stop postponing your life. You stop saying, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll be happy when." Tomorrow is a concept. Happiness is a state of being available here and now. The chosen ones know that postponing presence is postponing life itself. The world constantly pulls us away from presence. Notifications, deadlines, social pressures. They all scream for our attention, promising fulfillment somewhere just beyond our reach. But the chosen ones see through this illusion. They understand that no external achievement, no future success will bring the satisfaction they seek unless they can meet it with presence. They do not reject ambition or growth, rather, they pursue these things with a full awareness of the present moment. The work they do, the goals they set, are infused with presence, which makes their efforts more effective and their experiences richer. Presence is not passive. It is an active engagement with reality. The chosen ones approach life with their senses open and their minds clear. They listen deeply when others speak, not planning their response, but truly hearing the words. They act with intention, not from habit or fear, but from a deep connection to the moment. This quality of presence makes them magnetic. People feel seen and heard in their company. Opportunities seem to flow to them naturally, not because of luck, but because they are fully attuned to the signals of the present and ready to act when the moment calls. When you live with presence, time itself seems to shift. Moments stretch and deepen. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become more manageable because your energy is no longer fragmented. The chosen ones know this secret. When you give the present moment your full attention, you access a wellspring of energy, creativity, and clarity that remains hidden when your mind is divided. Presence brings a calm urgency, a sense that life is too precious to live half-heartedly, that now is the only time to love, create, decide, and act. The urgency of presence also carries with it a deep respect for life itself. The chosen ones feel this urgency because they know that life is unpredictable. No one is promised tomorrow. This awareness is not a source of fear, but a call to live more fully, to say what needs to be said, to do what needs to be done, to be who they truly are without waiting for external permission. They do not rush through life, they immerse themselves in it, drinking deeply from each moment. To live with the urgency of presence is to break free from the tyranny of time. It is to realize that life is not something happening in the distance, but something vibrating with potential in this exact moment. The chosen ones have answered this call. They have stepped out of the fog of distraction and into the clarity of now. The question is not whether the present moment is enough. It is, and it always has been. The real question is whether you will show up for it fully and completely while it is still here. Destiny is often misunderstood. People speak of it as if it were a fixed path, predetermined and unyielding, a course laid out by forces beyond their control. But the chosen ones know better. They understand that destiny is not a rigid script, but a canvas upon which they paint their decisions. It is not something that happens to you. It is something you co-create with every thought, every action, every moment of conscious intention. The chosen ones recognize that the future is not written in stone, but shaped in the present. And that realization changes everything. There is a subtle but profound shift that occurs when you grasp this truth. Most people wait. They wait for signs, for circumstances to align, for a voice from the heavens to declare their purpose. They live as though life is something to be revealed to them, rather than something they have the power to reveal through their own choices. The chosen ones do not wait. They decide. They know that the act of choosing with clarity and conviction ignites the forces of the universe in their favor. Destiny, they see, is not discovered, it is declared. The moment you decide who you are and what you will become, you set into motion a chain of events that bends reality around your vision. This is not magic or wishful thinking, but the natural consequence of focus and commitment. When your mind, heart, and actions align toward a singular purpose, the world responds. Opportunities that once seemed hidden begin to emerge. Resources appear. People who resonate with your vision are drawn into your orbit. But all of this starts with a decision, a conscious, unwavering decision to step into the identity of the chosen. Doubt is the greatest thief of destiny. The mind will question, who am I to do this? What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? But the chosen ones understand that these doubts are illusions, mental constructs designed to protect the ego from the discomfort of growth. They feel the fear and choose anyway. They know that destiny does not require perfection or certainty. It requires commitment. The decision to act in the face of uncertainty is the hallmark of the chosen. They do not wait to feel ready, because readiness is a byproduct of action, not a prerequisite. Society often reinforces the idea that our lives are governed by external factors, our upbringing, circumstances, or the opinions of others. But the chosen ones reject this narrative. They understand that while external conditions can influence the journey, they cannot dictate the destination. The real power lies within, in the decision to move forward despite external noise. Destiny responds to those who take responsibility for their lives, who stop blaming the past or external forces and instead focus on what can be done in this moment. Choice, when made with full awareness, carries an almost gravitational force. The chosen ones know that every choice, no matter how small, is a thread in the tapestry of destiny. The decision to wake up early and work on their craft, the choice to speak their truth even when it's uncomfortable, the decision to persist when giving up seems easier. These choices accumulate, shaping not only external results, but internal identity. Destiny is not a grand, singular moment of revelation. It is the sum of thousands of small decisions made in alignment with one's purpose. There is a misconception that destiny is reserved for the lucky few, for those born into privilege or possessing extraordinary talent. The chosen ones see through this myth. They know that talent, resources, and luck matter far less than decision and discipline. The decision to commit wholeheartedly to a vision, to move toward it with consistent, purposeful action, is what separates the 1% from the rest. They decide again and again to show up, to persevere, to believe in the unseen potential that lies beyond their current reality. This decision-based understanding of destiny brings with it immense freedom. When you realize that your destiny is in your hands, you are no longer a passive observer of life. You become its architect. The chosen ones live with this sense of creative power. They move through the world with an unshakable confidence, not because they know exactly how things will unfold, but because they trust their ability to decide, adapt, and persist. The path may twist and turn, but the decision to walk it remains firm. Destiny, in the end, is not about fate or fortune. It is about the courage to decide who you are and what you stand for. The chosen ones have made this decision. They have stepped into the role of creators rather than spectators. The question is not whether you have a destiny. You do. The question is whether you will claim it with the power of your decisions here and now. The celebration of mastery is not reserved for the end of the journey. The chosen ones know that mastery is not a destination, but a way of being. And so the celebration must happen along the way. It is easy to fall into the trap of postponing joy, telling yourself you will celebrate when you reach a certain milestone, when you achieve a particular goal, when the external world finally acknowledges your success. But the chosen ones reject this notion. They understand that true mastery requires an ongoing relationship with joy, with gratitude, with the simple act of honoring the process itself. Mastery is often associated with the accumulation of skills, achievements, and accolades. But the chosen ones see deeper. They know that mastery is the result of presence, persistence, and an unrelenting curiosity about life. It is not about performing flawlessly, but about being so immersed in the process that each action becomes an expression of their essence. And when you operate from this state, every moment becomes worthy of celebration. The E is not just a symbol of success, it is a reminder to find delight in the act of creating, learning, and growing. The world tends to celebrate outcomes, trophies, titles, and tangible results. But the chosen ones celebrate the unseen victories. They celebrate the mornings when they show up to work on their craft despite fatigue. They celebrate the courage it takes to face uncertainty and continue anyway. They celebrate the moments when they overcome internal resistance, silence self-doubt, and take action, even when fear whispers, "What if you fail?" These moments are invisible to the outside world, but they are the foundation of true mastery. The chosen ones know that when you honor these small victories, you reinforce the mindset and habits that lead to external success. Celebrating mastery is not about arrogance or complacency. It is about acknowledging growth and reinforcing the identity of someone who shows up, learns, and improves. The brain responds to what you celebrate. If you only celebrate massive wins, you teach your mind to open. My dear friend, you stand at the edge of something profound. You have walked this path, faced the trials, endured the waiting, and now here you are, on the threshold of transformation. But before the breakthrough, there is always one final step, one last test. Not to break you, but to reveal you, to strip away doubt, to refine your spirit, and to prepare you for what has always been yours. This is not the end. It is the moment before the dawn, the silence before the symphony begins. And all you must do is pass through, surrender, trust, and step forward. My dear friend, you stand at the edge of something profound. You have walked this path, faced the trials, endured the waiting, and now here you are on the threshold of transformation. But before the breakthrough, there is always one final step, one last test, not to break you, but to reveal you, to strip away doubt, to refine your spirit, and to prepare you for what has always been yours. This is not the end. It is the moment before the dawn, the silence before the symphony begins. And all you must do is pass through, surrender, trust, and step forward. And yet it is at this moment that doubt creeps in. The mind questions, is this really happening? Am I truly ready? The weight of exhaustion, the memories of past disappointments, the fear of yet another delay, these shadows rise as if to block your way. But you must understand that this resistance is not a sign of failure. It is the final gatekeeper before your ascension. Every great transformation requires a final test, not because you are unworthy, but because you must be made fully ready to receive what is coming. Think of the butterfly resting within its cocoon. It has undergone the process of becoming, yet before it can emerge, it must struggle against the very walls that have held it safe. And in that struggle, its wings are strengthened. If the struggle were removed, the butterfly would never fly. The cocoon is not the enemy, it is the final preparation. Likewise, your current challenge is not here to stop you. It is here to equip you. It is pushing you, stretching you, demanding that you step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. The mistake most people make is believing that difficulty means they are off course. But look deeper. Does the seed not break before it becomes a tree? Does the night not reach its deepest darkness before the first light of dawn? The struggle is not the end, it is the transition, the last threshold between what was and what will be. And the secret is this: the only way through is forward. You may feel tired, you may feel like you have given all you can, but just because you cannot see the finish line does not mean it is not there. Often the greatest breakthroughs happen just when we are ready to give up, because that moment, the one where you feel the weight of it all, where you wonder if you have anything left, is the moment where faith is truly tested. If you knew how close you were, you would not hesitate. If you could see what is waiting for you just beyond this final step, you would not doubt for a second. So do not stop now. Do not let fear or exhaustion rob you of what is already yours. Instead, shift your perspective. See this final challenge not as an obstacle, but as a doorway you are meant to walk through. And you do not have to force it. Just like the river does not struggle to find its way to the ocean, you do not have to force your destiny to unfold. You simply align yourself with the flow, release resistance, and trust. The moment you surrender to the process, something powerful happens. Fear loosens its grip, doubt dissolves, and you begin to see that everything, even this final test, is part of something much greater. You were never abandoned, you were never forgotten. This was always part of the plan. And here you are, right where you are meant to be. The challenge is not here to defeat you, it is here to confirm that you are ready. You have been chosen for this. You have been prepared for this. And now all that remains is for you to take that final step. Trust. Move forward. Your breakthrough is near. The resistance you feel right now is not a sign to turn back. It is proof that you are on the verge of something life-changing. Just like an arrow must be pulled back before it is launched forward, the tension you are experiencing is the very force that will propel you into your breakthrough. Yet in this moment, it is easy to mistake resistance for rejection, to believe that the struggle means you are not meant to continue. But that is not the truth. If anything, the intensity of this moment is confirmation that you are closer than you have ever been. Think about every great story of triumph. Before the hero steps into their destiny, there is always a test. A moment where the weight of the journey feels unbearable, where the temptation to give up is strongest. This is not by accident. The final test is designed to strip away anything that does not belong in the next chapter of your life. Fear, doubt, hesitation. These cannot come with you. You must be lighter, freer, more aligned with the truth of who you are. And that is what this challenge is doing. It is not stopping you, it is refining you. Most people do not realize that the moment of greatest difficulty is often the exact moment before the shift happens. It is like a locked door that refuses to open, until suddenly, with one final push, it gives way. That push is where most people stop. They assume the resistance means the door is not meant to open. But you must understand, resistance does not mean it is not yours. It means you must claim it. You must push through. You must trust that everything you have endured up to this point was preparing you for this very moment. It is the mind that makes struggle seem unbearable. The mind wants certainty, control, and immediate results. It does not like waiting. It does not like discomfort. And so, when you are in the final stretch, the mind will try to convince you that you are failing, that you are stuck, that perhaps you misunderstood your path. But this is where faith is required. Not the kind of faith that waits passively, but the kind that sees beyond the temporary storm and knows, without a doubt, that the sun is still there, even when it is hidden behind the clouds. There is a deep wisdom in learning to surrender to the flow of life. The greatest breakthroughs do not come through force, but through alignment. When you stop resisting, when you stop fighting the process and instead trust it, something shifts. The energy changes. Doors that once seemed locked begin to open effortlessly. The weight that felt so heavy begins to lift. Because the truth is, you were never meant to struggle your way to your destiny. You were meant to step into it with faith, with trust, with the understanding that everything has already been arranged in your favor. If you find yourself questioning whether you can go on, remind yourself why you started. Remember the moments when you felt the fire in your soul, when you knew without question that you were meant for more. That knowing has not left you, it has only been tested. But tests are not designed to break you, they are designed to prove you. And the fact that you are still here, still standing, still pushing forward, that is proof enough that you are ready. So do not let this final challenge deceive you. Do not let the resistance make you doubt what you already know in your heart. You are not here by accident. You were chosen for this path, and this moment, this very moment, is the bridge between where you have been and where you are going. All that is left now is to take that last step. Trust. Breathe. Let go of fear. Your breakthrough is near. You have come too far to turn back now. Everything you have endured, every trial you have faced, every moment where you questioned whether you could go on, it has all led you to this point. And now, at the very edge of your breakthrough, the pressure is at its highest. This is not a sign of failure. It is the final test, the last resistance before the door swings open. Life operates in cycles, and just before a major shift, the old patterns try to hold on. The mind clings to what is familiar, even if that familiarity is struggle, doubt, or limitation. But you are not here to repeat the past. You are here to step into something new. And that means the old must be left behind. This is why the final step feels so heavy, because it is not just about moving forward, but about releasing everything that no longer serves you. Fear, hesitation, self-doubt, the need for external validation, all of it must go. And that is why this moment feels like a storm. It is shaking loose everything that cannot go with you into the next chapter of your life. It is easy to wonder why things feel more difficult right before a breakthrough. Shouldn't things become easier if you are truly on the right path? But nature itself reveals the truth. The darkest hour is just before the dawn. The seed must crack open before it can grow into a tree. The caterpillar dissolves into nothing before it emerges as a butterfly. The process is always the same. Transformation requires surrender, and surrender is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of trust, trusting that the forces that brought you this far are not about to abandon you now, trusting that even when you cannot see the way, the path is still unfolding. But surrender does not mean standing still. It means moving forward without fear. It means refusing to let doubt dictate your next step. It means choosing to believe in your breakthrough even before you see it manifest, because that belief is what creates the shift. The moment you stop questioning whether it will happen and start moving as if it already has, everything changes. Doors that once seemed locked begin to open effortlessly. The weight that once felt unbearable begins to lift, Because the truth is, you were never meant to struggle your way through. You were meant to align with the flow of your destiny. And the greatest secret of all is this: the breakthrough is already happening. Even now, as you stand in this moment of uncertainty, the shift is underway. The things you have been praying for, the opportunities you have been waiting for, the changes you have been longing for, they are already in motion. You may not see them yet, but they are unfolding behind the scenes, aligning in perfect timing. The only thing left is for you to step into that reality with faith, to move as if it is already yours, to trust that the universe, God, divine, timing, whatever you believe in, has already made the way. This is why you cannot stop now. This is why you cannot let the weight of this moment convince you that you are not ready. If you weren't ready, you wouldn't be here. If you weren't capable, the opportunity wouldn't be presenting itself. This moment is not happening to you, it is happening for you. It is the final threshold between where you have been and where you are going. All that is required of you now is to step forward, to trust, to release the doubt, to walk in the truth of who you are. You were chosen for this, you were prepared for this, and now the only thing left is to take that final step. The door is already open, the path is already clear, your breakthrough is near. There comes a point in every journey where you stand face to face with the final obstacle, the last trial before everything shifts. It feels heavier than anything before it, not because it is impossible to overcome, but because it is asking something deeper of you. It is not just about endurance anymore, it is about trust. It is about surrendering the fear, the doubt, the hesitation, and stepping forward with absolute certainty, even when everything around you seems uncertain. This is where most people turn back. This is where the mind plays tricks, whispering that maybe you were wrong, that maybe this isn't meant for you, that maybe it's safer to return to what is familiar. But you are not most people. You did not come this far to retreat at the final stretch. You were called to something greater, and that calling has never left you. Even in your moments of doubt, even when you questioned everything, the vision remained, the knowing remained. That is because this was always meant for you. The greatest breakthroughs always come after the greatest resistance. Just like the sky is always darkest before the sun rises, just like the ocean is always stillest before a storm, there is always a moment where it feels like nothing is moving. And then, in an instant, everything changes. That instant is closer than you think. What feels like an unbearable weight right now is actually the final pressure before the release, the final stretch before you break through to the other side. So do not stop now. Do not let the weight of this moment deceive you. The resistance is not a sign that you should quit. It is a sign that you are on the edge of something extraordinary. You are not being tested because you are weak. You are being tested because you are ready. The door is right in front of you, and it is waiting for you to step through. But you must take that step. You must trust. You must release the fear, release the doubt, and move forward with absolute certainty. Everything you have been waiting for is already on its way. The pieces are falling into place. The answers are coming. The breakthrough is near. All that is left is for you to meet it with the faith and confidence of someone who already knows that they have won. Because in truth, you already have. Now all you must do is walk forward and claim what has always been yours. There is a moment in every great journey where everything seems to stand still. You have fought, endured, and waited, yet the breakthrough has not yet fully arrived. And in this moment, doubt creeps in. You wonder if all your effort has been in vain, if perhaps you misread the signs, if maybe this dream was never meant for you. But what if I told you that this very feeling, the weight of waiting, the resistance, the uncertainty, is the final sign that you are right at the edge of your breakthrough? It is easy to mistake silence for absence, but nothing could be further from the truth. The moment before the shift is always the most intense. Think about an archer pulling back an arrow. The farther it is pulled back, the greater the tension. For a moment it feels like nothing is happening. The arrow is still, the pressure is immense, but then, in one swift motion, it is released, soaring faster and farther than it ever could have without that tension. Right now, you are that arrow. The resistance you feel is not holding you back. It is preparing to launch you forward. Many people quit when they feel this resistance. They assume that if things were truly meant for them, the path would be easy, that opportunities would simply fall into place. But this is not how transformation works. The deepest growth, the greatest shifts, the most powerful breakthroughs, they all require a final test, not to punish you, but to prove you, to make sure you are not just capable, but fully ready to handle what is coming. You cannot carry old fears into new seasons. You cannot bring hesitation into a place that requires boldness. You cannot step into your destiny while still doubting whether you belong there. And so life presents you with this moment, a moment that asks you to decide, not based on what you see, but based on what you know. Do you believe in your breakthrough, even when it has not yet arrived? Do you trust that everything is coming together, even when you cannot see the full picture? This is the moment where faith is tested. Because real faith does not just wait for the breakthrough, it moves forward as if it is already here. There is something powerful about shifting your mindset from waiting to walking. When you wait, you are uncertain, you hesitate, you overthink, you wonder if maybe you should turn back. But when you walk forward with confidence, everything begins to align. The energy shifts. The doors that once seemed closed begin to open. The path that seemed unclear starts to reveal itself. Because you are no longer waiting for life to prove something to you, you are proving to life that you are ready. If you only knew how close you were, you would not even consider giving up. You would not question whether this was meant for you, because you would see that it has always been yours. The only thing left to do is claim it. Step into it. Walk in the certainty that no obstacle is greater than your purpose, no delay is greater than your destiny, and no amount of resistance can stop what has already been set in motion for you.